1 month ago, my divorce was finalized. I walked away from a good man, a stable home, and a perfect-looking life. And I need to tell you why. Not because my story is shocking, but precisely because it isn't. It's quiet, ordinary pain is what makes it matter. Please listen. This might save you years.
The date on the decree was the first of the year. My ex-husband, let's call him David, chose it for practical tax reasons. I agreed. Even in our ending, we were polite and reasonable. We were always so reasonable. And that reasonable, civilized distance was the very heart of our problem. The decision to leave was mine. It was a terrifying leap. I am a mother to a young son. I left my career as a teacher years ago to have him. We didn't need my salary. David provided well. By every external measure, I had it all. A healthy child, a secure future, a husband who was decent, faithful, and kind. And I chose to leave it all behind. I saw the bewilderment in the eyes of everyone I told. They searched for a villain, a scandal, a clear-cut reason. There wasn't one. And that absence of a dramatic why made the choice feel more isolating, not less. Let me take you to where the quiet unraveling began. When my son was born, a fundamental shift happened inside me. The birth was straightforward, my recovery smooth. I was profoundly fortunate. But as I held him, something within me fractured. A tidal wave of postpartum anxiety drowned out everything else. I'd always been a worrier, but now I was consumed. I surrendered all my own judgment. I handed my power over to parenting manuals, online forums, any voice that claimed authority. Sleep became a memory, not because my son was restless, but because my mind would not shut off. I'd lie rigid beside his crib, staring into the dark, waiting for disaster. I'd collapse from sheer fatigue for an hour before he'd stir. David was lost in a different way. He retreated into his role as the provider. In his mind, working hard and paying bills was his entire duty. He was present, but he couldn't see the depth of my drowning. And I, in my fear and exhaustion, couldn't form the words to ask for a lifeline. When I tried, it came out as criticism. We were both desperate, and in our desperation, we completely lost sight of each other. We became polite strangers sharing a home. It took a full year for the fog to begin lifting. I was in therapy throughout, a privilege David's support allowed. That space to heal was his greatest and most unconscious gift to me. When my son turned 1, I made a new mission: to save us. I worked tirelessly in therapy to become a better partner. I read every book, practiced every communication technique, offered every compromise. For 2 more years, I tried with every fiber of my being. And then I had to confront the quiet truth I'd been running from. The marriage was already over. I was emotionally and physically spent. My body began sounding the alarm I'd been ignoring. I fell ill constantly. Severe sinus infections, migraines. My physical self was begging me to stop. I was exhausting myself, reviving something that had already passed. The intimacy was gone. What remained was a familiar, fond affection, the kind you feel for a childhood friend. It was safe, and it was utterly empty of romance or deep partnership. Asking for the divorce was the most difficult conversation of my life. From the outside, it looked like madness. David was a good father. He was reliable and funny with friends. We had the picture-perfect family structure. Why would anyone abandon that? Then my therapist posed a question that changed everything. Do you want your son to grow up in one house with married parents who are merely coexisting, or in 2 homes with parents who are genuinely happy and fulfilled? She was right. I was deeply unhappy, and my son would learn from watching us. He'd learn that love looks like silence across a dinner table, like separate lives under one roof, like affectionless coexistence. I wanted so much more for him. I wanted him to witness real tenderness, spontaneous hugs, shared laughter that reaches the eyes, a partnership that fuels both people. David and I could not model that. I am now legally single. We separated 8 months ago, and the sense of peace and self-discovery I've felt since is profound. David is doing well, too. We've built a respectful, amicable co-parenting friendship. That has been an invaluable gift for our son. I feel excitement about the future again. I see it in David as well. Our son is happy and adjusting. I will always be grateful for the years I had at home with my child. That time was a treasure. I'll return to teaching soon to support us. He may not remember these early years in detail, but I will carry them forever. Here is the core of what I need you to hear. Leaving a partnership doesn't require a catastrophe. It doesn't demand betrayal or cruelty. Sometimes, the bravest reason is simply the quiet longing to be truly seen, to be loved deeply, not just comfortably accommodated. That is the choice I made, and it has been the most authentic decision of my life. I believe my son will have 2 whole, content parents. He will see what real connection looks like when we each eventually find it. That is worth any temporary difficulty. People ask if I'm afraid, if I have regrets. The answer is no, because I know what staying would have meant: a gradual shrinking of my spirit, a lifelong compromise with a quiet despair. I gave the marriage my complete effort. There is peace in knowing I tried everything. There is no guilt, only clarity. I learned when to stop pouring into a cup that was already empty. My son deserves a mother who is fully alive, who demonstrates that honoring your own truth is an act of courage, not selfishness. He deserves to learn that sometimes the strongest choice is to walk away and rebuild. I am constructing a new life now, one where I define my wants and rediscover who I am beyond a title like wife. It's terrifying. Starting over in my late 30s as a single mother is not the plan I had, but it is my reality, and it is brimming with a potential my marriage had long since lost. The initial months in my own apartment were surreal, waking up to a different silence. The air felt both lighter and heavier simultaneously. Lighter because I could finally breathe fully. Heavier because the path ahead was mine alone to walk. I had to relearn who I was, separate from a relationship. Some nights when my son was with his father, the doubts would visit. In the stillness, I'd wonder if I'd made a colossal error. Then I'd remember the profound loneliness of lying next to someone and feeling a universe apart. The ache of wanting to reach out, but knowing the touch would be hollow. That shared loneliness was a far deeper solitude than being physically alone. I began doing small things just for me. I'd take a long bath without watching the clock. I'd read novels for pleasure again. I'd sit in a park and simply observe. I was reintroducing myself to myself, and I found I liked the person I was becoming. If you are in a relationship that feels hollow, even if there is no obvious problem, please honor that feeling. Don't wait for a permission slip in the form of a crisis. Don't dismiss your need for passionate connection as frivolous. Your quiet unhappiness is reason enough. Your desire for a resonant partnership is valid. I wasted years believing I needed a more socially acceptable justification. I told myself I was being ungrateful, that I should settle because my situation was good enough. That narrative kept me trapped, and it nearly drained the life from me. You do not require anyone's approval to want a life that sets your soul alight. You only need the bravery to take that first trembling step. This channel, Wines of Thought, is a space for raw, human stories like this one. If this reflection resonated with you, please like this video. It helps these vital conversations reach others who need to hear them. Subscribe to Winds of Thought for more journeys into the heart of life's difficult choices.